There are many grounds for divorce in Massachusetts, including uncontested divorce or no-fault grounds. There are also fault-based grounds like infidelity, cruelty, but those are not used often, and the reason they're not used often is because anybody can get a divorce on no-fault grounds, and if the facts specific to the fault grounds are relevant to either custody or financial issues, then those can be injected into a no-fault case. So most people file no fault. There are fault-based grounds, but they're rarely used. Assets are divided in Massachusetts by what's called equitable distribution, which means not necessarily 50-50, but fair under the circumstances. So the court will look at a number of different factors, including what the parties' contributions were to the marriage, the length of the marriage, the income, health of the parties, ability to acquire future assets, and a number of other factors to figure out how to fairly divide the property. So to some extent, it's subjective based on what a judge thinks is fair, but those are the factors that are typically used. Alimony is spousal support. We do use the term alimony mainly in Massachusetts, and alimony is basically support from one spouse, the financially stronger spouse, to the financially weaker spouse in divorce. So the judge will focus on a couple of main factors: the payors or the higher earner's ability to pay, and the lower earner / recipient's need. So the financial need, how much money does that individual need week in and week out to maintain a lifestyle at least comparable to what that person experienced in the marriage. Alimony is pretty common. It's actually become more common recently because the High Court in Massachusetts issued a decision not too long ago forcing judges and attorneys to consider alimony even in child support cases. So what was happening a lot was in cases in which there was child support, attorneys and judges, many attorneys and judges were just skipping over the alimony analysis, but this case makes it essentially mandatory for judges to consider alimony even in child support cases. So I would say overall it's relatively common. The longer the marriage and the greater the disparity in income between the spouses, then the more likely it is that alimony will be awarded. The basics of custody are, it starts with the best interest of the child. That is the standard in Massachusetts. I think it's common nationwide as well, but the bottom line is there are a number of factors that the court considers in determining what is in the best interest of the child. How bonded is the child to each parent? What role did each parent play in the child's upbringing? Where is the child going to live? Where is the child going to school? What are the parents' respective schedules? And there are a number of other factors, but basically the court's looking at what's in the best interest of the child, focusing on these factors, examining each parent, whether that parent has a history of caring for the child, whether that parent is psychologically stable, has any substance abuse issues, has the schedule to take care of the child, and then figuring out an arrangement both on legal custody, which is about who makes the major decisions, and on physical custody, which is where the child is going to spend the majority of the time and what the parenting time breakdown is. If you have any questions about divorce, please feel free to contact us at Farias Family Law.